He's your X Factor player.
29 games played through 39 career games.
Tired of talking about players who aren't available. Whether or not it's time to pay him the big bucks because he was a second-round draft pick.
But the number one thing is stay on the field. That's all that matters. The best ability is availability. And with DeAndre Swift, if you're going to command top 5, top 8 running back money, you got to play some games. Absolutely.
What is going on with DeAndre Swift, and what should the Lions do with him? As a player that's in his third year, his first year 800+ yards from scrimmage, the second year 1,000 yards from scrimmage, but missed multiple games year 1 and 2, and here we are, year 3, and he's already missed 3 games. 4 weeks technically, including the bye, he's missed 3 games now.
Yep.
And you are now 0-3 without him, and you're 1 and 2 with him. Swift is uber talented. He's got all the skill sets you'd want in a modern day running back. He can run the ball hard. He's a home run hitter.
Catch the ball at the backfield.
Catch the ball out of the backfield. Does a lot of things really well.
Yep.
Never available. Can't stand it. Drives me nuts. I don't care how talented you are. If you're not on the field, you are useless to me. So my question to all of you is, what should the Lions do with DeAndre Swift? Is a guy next year will be going into his 4th year. You have to decide whether or not it's time to pay him the big bucks because he was a second-round draft pick. You don't have the 5th-year option. And the reality is he going to command top 5, top 7, top 8 running back money? He could, depending on how many games he plays. And I'm sure there are teams that would be willing to spend that money. And we could have the same conversation about Hawkinson. But regarding Swift, he's your X Factor player on offense. He's the guy where even if a play looks over, it's not. You saw the game against Washington, right? He fell down, ended up getting 7, I believe.
He was on his booty, and he ended up in the end zone.
So, I like Swift, the player. Probably a great human.
Right.
If he's not on the field,
hard worker, too.
What does that mean?
Well, for me, and I'll start with this, no one's denying the talent of DeAndre Swift, and no one's denying the work ethic, by the way. I know his dad is Jack, too, so it runs in the family. A little bit of that John Brown heritage running around. But I think with DeAndre, and this is what really confuses me, because coming out of the draft, DeAndre Swift at Georgia, among the running backs that were selected around him, you had Jonathan Taylor, and other guys, too, as well. But we'll just use Jonathan Taylor as an example. DeAndre had the least amount of carries in college compared to those guys. So he was coming into the league with, the least amount of, at least, load on him in college. So you're thinking, okay, so you're getting a guy who is at least has a little more juice than the rest. Like Jonathan Taylor, for example, started all 4 years at Wisconsin, had a ton of carries all through those 4 years. But for Swift, it was like, you know what? You have a guy who has the potential, is very, very good, and you see it right away. But the problem is, and the problem I have, is not about his skill. It's not that he's averaging 8.6 yards per carry right now in the NFL, which leads the NFL in yards per carry. My issue is the games he's missed. And you talked about it. 29 games played through 39 career games. For DeAndre, and this is my theory on it, you get one more year with him, like you said. I think they draft a running back this year. You need depth. DeAndre isn't a guy that can carry this offense. Although as important as he is, and you saw last game, even against Dallas, throwing to the running back, you see the difference? Craig Reynolds, 2-3 yards tackled, or he'd lose yards. That's where DeAndre Swift's value comes in. He's a home run hitter. He can make plays that aren't there. And I think with his value, it's so depressing, at least for Lions fans, because you see the value he has when he's on the field. And I love Jamal, but Jamal is going to be a free agent this year. Are you going to pay Jamal again? Personally, I would rather just go out and draft a running back. But if you want to sign Jamal, that's fine. But that's a guy you're going to have to look for more and more to be your RB1 if Swift's not there. So it's not good for as talented as he is. I mean, you saw it through the first, game of the season. I mean, Sam Flannel sat in that same booth and said he'd lead the NFC in rushing. And everyone didn't think he was crazy through 1 week and 2 weeks. And then he was hurt. And I think that's the biggest question for DeAndre, and it's similar to Jeff for me, is Jeff's playing well, but the number one thing is stay on the field. That's all that matters. The best ability is availability, and with DeAndre Swift, if you're going to command top 5, top 8 running back money, you got to play some games. So in my opinion, you got to draft eventually, Adam. I'm not saying you take one in the first round or the second, but you got to address it.
Would you take a Bijan Robinson?
I don't think so. Although it's enticing, I think he'll be gone. I think he'll be right around where Najee was drafted last year or the previous year. And I think that'll be around the 20s, maybe even earlier. I don't think the Lions reach that high in a running back, but maybe the second, maybe the third round, you take a running back, you need depth there. You just do. And I love Craig, by the way, but no DeAndre, they struggle. And I love Jamal too, but he's not your running back number one.
Go take it. You're probably looking at taking a running back again in the second round, maybe third round at the latest, early third round. That's the reality. You're not bringing out the Brinks trunk for DeAndre Swift, and honestly, even if he was healthy, you'd still question whether or not you'd want to pay him, because running backs just don't last in the NFL today. They just don't. So look, Swift, dynamic player, uber talented. I could say a lot of good things about him. Doesn't matter. Not available. He's missed 3 games in 3 consecutive years. 4 games technically last year. Tired. Tired of talking about players who aren't available. He was, quote, pushing towards playing against Dallas. Never showed up. In a game where I could argue if he's available,
he's a game
happen.
changer, Adam. No, you're not wrong. He's a guy that can affect the game. So if he plays, you're right. There's always a chance for things. He can make plays out of nothing. So there's value, but what value does he have sitting on your bench? That's the problem. But you don't have to make a decision for another year. So again, but you have to think about it this offseason. You have to.
You have a good enough offensive line to have a back by committee where you have specialists. I mean, you guys all remember Theo Riddick back in the day, right? You'd bringing him in. If you didn't get much on first down, you'd bring him in. Second, third down. You knew third down was likely a pass play, but second down you could threaten and still really hand him the ball off, even a draw on third down. There are ways to get around it. The reality is, you need to be able to run the ball situationally in the NFL. It's not about having Dalvin Cook. It's not about having Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's really nice to have, but my point is, you need to be able to run the ball effectively on first down and then on short situations, short to gain, whether it's third and short, second and short, fourth and short, I don't care. You have to be able to run the ball situationally. Is it nice to have a home run hitter like a Saquon or a Swift? Absolutely. Not how games are won. It's not how games are won. Just isn't. Run the ball effectively on first down, run the ball effectively on second down. Short situations, run the ball effectively. Open up the playbook for your offense. That's the job of the running team.